Hello, my name is Ayodele Adebayo from McDaniel's Design Thinking School. Right, it is not a news for every one of us, of course, if you live in Nigeria, right, to understand that we're going through a very difficult time, so to say, very challenging time. And especially if you are in business, if you run a business, if you sell, and buy, if you produce, product and services, right, you are in business, and of course, we understand that it's actually not been, of course, a very suitable, of course, experiences in the last couple of weeks. And the reason is just because, of course, of what is currently ongoing, the Naira swap, and of course, with all the, of course, irregularities, that's of course, come with it. And if you look at it critically, all this, had actually crippled, of course, economic activities for lots of businesses and for different individuals and entrepreneurs. All right, and in the look of this, all right, at McDaniel said it is our responsibility to always sit down, of course, look through, of course, challenges and problems, and then we help, of course, everyone, every business owner, every entrepreneur, every, of course, product and service, creator, to come up, of course, with solutions, sometimes, of course, solutions, to, the problems, emanating, or to the problems that they are experiencing, around in their businesses. Right, so we've sat down and, of course, thought it, of course, thoroughly to look into how can we help out, in this time, and that's why, all right, this short, of course, video is going to be, of course, a great help to you. So I want to implore you to please, of course, take out time rather, and of course, take out time to listen, attentively to this video. It's going to really help you out. All right. Thanks. My name is Ayodele Adebayo once again.
Hello, welcome to year 2023. Of course, I bring you greetings from McDaniel's Design Thinking School. We have lots of programs and lots of course, not just programs, but of course experiences that will make you to, transit from the level you are now to the higher and of course, the best level in your career, in your business, in your life, in your family, in your work. Right, and so that's why I want to specially invite you to please work with us in year 2023. It's going to be a very pleasurable and satisfactory experience. My name is Ayodele Adebayo, Mr. Ideation. Bye for now.
Hi. It is very important for us to understand that, when things like this happen, that lots of things, of course, are actually, of course, bound, to also, take place. Now, when I mean things like this, what do I mean? I'm talking about, of course, the ongoing, Naira swap, which, of course, in a way or the other, also, leading to Naira scarcity, right, in Nigeria presently. And when things like this happen, like I said earlier on, you realize that it's going to be affecting lots of things, all right? I've interacted with few, of course, business owners, and I've discovered that, of course, business owners are actually going through a generic problem right now, which is, of course, the problem of scarcity, Naira scarcity, right? And as a result of that, it's affecting, of course, sales, bringing, low turnout of course, buyers, not because people didn't want to buy, but because people didn't have means, all right, to make payment, because some people couldn't, of course, access, of course, Naira, and some people couldn't access, of course, means, via which they can, of course, make payment. Not only Naira scarcity, you also realize that, sometimes, to also, make payments via transfers or via, the point of sales, of course, machines and all the likes. You realize that some of them are not, really working or not effectively working. For example, I remember very well that I made, of course, a transaction, like 2 weeks ago, and even up till now via POS, the money hasn't got into, the, intended account, and neither, of course, hasn't been reversed, despite, all manner of complaint. But what I'm trying to say is that of course, in the face of all of this, how do you ensure that you're still able to do your business and you do it successfully? How do you ensure that you have to sell out, in a time like this, or outsell, so to say, how do you ensure that you of course work on yourself in order not to allow the current challenges, of course, to make you lose out, as far as your business is concerned. So it's very important for us to take note and sit down and look into this. So I came up, of course, with these 5 critical points, which I believe will really help you, as far as, of course, this time or this season is concerned. And let me quickly, of course, run through them. The first one is this: I need you to understand something. All right, now that I need you to believe that as a business person, that this current time is not the time for you to, of course, to be dejected or feel frustrated. It is actually the time for you to make a decision that you will do well and you will do better, which is very important. You will do well and you will do better. What does it mean to do well? It means that at least you can still keep pace of your business, all right? You still keep pace of course, what you're doing, what you've been doing before, this time comes. And what does it mean to do better? Means that, okay, you will make a decision that, okay, I can go ahead, I can stretch, I can do some extra things in order to ensure that at least I'm able to, of course, keep, myself within business, as far as this time is concerned. And this is the secret of course, some people who are actually, still thriving, even though there are challenges and situations, all because they understand, of course, what it takes to, of course, look through the problems or the challenge, and then, of course, turn it around, of course, to their own, favor, which is very, very important. All right, and it's actually, of course, a skill that everyone needs to know and, of course, understand. So what am I saying? The first thing is this: have the believe strongly that you can do well and that you can do better. All right, in this time you are not permitted to do less. Right, I've seen some people, of course, pouring out, of course, their frustrations, on their customers and all the likes, transferred aggressions and all manner of course, behavioral, and all the likes, all because of the, Naira scarcity, and because of course, low, turnout, in patronage or in sales. You need to understand that, of course, you cannot go ahead, like this and expect, all right, in that thing, business, will keep booming. And like I mentioned yesterday, while I was talking to some, group of persons, I mentioned this. It's very important, in the face of this current challenge, right? Some people will definitely, of course, lose more customers eventually, while some other businesses, of course, will add, more customers, to themselves. And the reason will be, of course, as a result of what, each business is able to do, in now, all right, which is very, very important. All right, so whatever thing you'll be able to do now in this current situation will be determined or will be dependent on, of course, the belief you have that you have to do well and that you have to do better, which is very, very important. The second thing is this: try as much as possible, make up your mind that you will create pleasurable experiences, all right, for your patrons, right, or for your customers or for your clients, for everyone that come, across, your path to, of course, transact with you. It is very, very important. Take, for instance, we all need to understand now, like we, of course, used to mention on the streets, all right, tension is everywhere. Everyone is tensed in a way or the other. People are, of course, going through a lot of challenges. I've seen and I've, of course, come across, of course, families, who are unable to, of course, afford, of course, food, for their children, all because, of course, this Naira scarcity and all the like. So when you come in contact with people like that now, as a business owner or as a business person, it is very important for you to try as much as possible to make up your mind that you will not leave people like that, of course, the same way, of course, they approach you, the same way, of course, they intend to, of course, transact with you. So you need to, of course, make it, as your mantra in this time that I'm going to be offering, of course, pleasurable experience, for everyone that come across, of course, my brand, or come across, my business, or come across, of course, my product. For everyone that will approach me to buy from me, all right, either they have cash or they don't have cash, you need to understand that, you have the responsibility, all right, if you put it on yourself that you have the responsibility to create, of course, pleasurable experience, for them, you realize that it will go a long way in helping you to do well, and of course also to do better, as far as your business is concerned, because this is very important. All right, now in this time, all right, it is not even really much about, of course, what you are able to sell to people, but of course about the kind of experience you're able to create, for them, which is very important. Right, if they leave your office, if they leave your shop, if they leave your store, and they are happy, they are excited. If they leave your shop, your store, and they have what they want to buy, and at the same time they are also, of course, they also feel lighted. They feel lighted. Burdens reduced, pressure, of course, depleted. You realize that, when next, of course, they want to they want to patronize, or they need something like that, that you sell, they will definitely, think about you, because via your pleasurable experience, you've been able to create, of course, an emotional, connection, such that they cannot never forget. And of course, there are incentives, for that, from their own side. Number 3, you need to, of course, make up your mind that you will offer extra value services, which is very, very important. Offer extra value services. It is very, very key. Let me give you an example. I went into a particular store to buy something, of course, for my kids. All right, it's still, of course, the same store, where we used to buy something. So when I, of course, finished buying what I, wanted to buy, all right, I told, the store owner, I said, please, would you permit me to, of course, make a transfer of course, extra money to you, so that at least, I could, have some cash. That's one of the means via which, of course, I'm able to, of course, source for cash, this time. All right, and so I was actually, of course, talking to her about, of course, let me add, of course, a small, lower denomination, to it. And surprisingly, she said, okay, you can add up, so amount, so which means that he actually asked me to add up, of course, more. That if I don't mind, I could add up, of course, more that she would, of course, give me. Now, this is something I couldn't have access to it, from even the banks. And this woman, of course, offered to, of course, give me that, at no cost at all. So while I was making my transfer, I transferred the money for, of course, the equivalence of what I bought, and at the same time, of course, transferred extra so that she can, of course, give me cash, without extra cost. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I mean, I was so happy and so excited. And then I said to myself, this woman has actually gotten it. I mean, nothing will actually, of course, make me, to, of course, leave this woman, right? Except, by her own attitude herself, because, she has proven, and not only once. I mean, I've done that once or twice or three times, with her. So it means that, when I want to buy something, the woman, of course, had decided that, okay, she could, of course, go in a way or the other by offering, of course, extra value, service, which is very important. So, and it will, of course, keep customers coming, one after the other. So in this time, in this period, all right, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as, of course, a business person, either you sell products or you offer services, whatever thing you do, as much as, of course, people are, patronizing you, or people, would, of course, be coming, towards patronizing you, try as much as possible to make up your mind that you will offer, extra value. Give them, of course, a little more, of course, than what they are requesting for, a little more that could, of course, help them to create, that could create, pleasurable and, of course, satisfactory experience, onto them. It is very, very important. The fourth one is offer prior to order, plan, or subscription with incentive, which is very important. For example, right, if you are a business owner, let's say you are a grocery, of course, store owner, and of course, you have your customers, of course, that will come around to buy from you. You know that, in this time, you understand that, it might be somehow, all right, for people to, of course, have access to cash. You can offer to let them know that, okay, you know what, we can, of course, there's actually a plan I have for my customers. We can buy much more, all right, now, and then, of course, pay later. Maybe pay, like, of course, twice, all right, pay, instrumentally, but be sure that you understand the credibility of those people that you want to do such, things for, which is very, very important, and ensure that, of course, you are not going to be running at loss, at doing that. So what I'm trying to say is this, that, so you are, of course, offering to them like a pre, order plan. So which means that, if they have come around to, of course, purchase a little, just because of now, you can, of course, go ahead and tell them that, don't worry, I can actually sell more to you because I know you might need more also, later. But of course, you can make payments, all right, twice, all right, or three times, depending, on, of course, your own calculation. Just make sure, like I said, you do your calculations right. It is very, very important. When people feel that, of course, you have their back, in such a time like this, you realize that definitely they will be there for you, and that means, of course, you are doing well and you are doing better. And the last one, of course, because of time, is this: create money equivalence voucher, which is very important. It costs you nothing, all right? You're not printing money, right? But what you're doing is that you can actually create a customized, of course, money voucher, all right? Depending on, of course, the kind of store, that you run, or the kind of business that you run, all right? Create a money, equivalence, voucher. You can create voucher for like 5,000 naira voucher, 3,000 naira voucher, all right? 2,000 naira voucher, 20,000 naira voucher, and as much as possible, you can even create, a million naira, voucher, all right? So once you create such voucher, all right, let your customers, let them purchase this voucher from you, and the voucher is, of course, they make a transfer to you. For example, if I'm providing, of course, a voucher of like say 1 million naira, so it means that okay, you transfer 1 million naira to me, and then I give you a voucher of 1 million naira. All right, so with the voucher, of course, you of course have to work it out, in such a way that you are able to, of course, make, of course, a deduction. So for example, I could decide, from my voucher to purchase something of 500,000 naira or 570,000 naira, today. All right, then of course, you make deductions, from it, and then I know, of course, how much I have left, of course, the voucher. So I could, of course, come back again, or I could decide that okay, I want to help out someone, so I could give someone, my voucher, or I say okay, go to this so store. Now the beautiful thing about this is this, that you compel people indirectly, all right, to buy from you, which is very important. You compel them to buy for you. Especially something like this will work more for, of course, store owners. If you're a store owner, supermarket owners, and of course, or big store, or electronic shop or thereabouts, whichever, of course, whatever thing you're doing, and that people will be, of course, requiring much more, in a time like this. And the beauty of it is this: even when there is, of course, when all of this, of course, hula baloo is being, of course, relieved, we're being relieved of all of this hula baloo. Now you realize that you are still, you've not lost anything. It means that your money is still intact, all right? Your customers are still intact, and even more, they are still more compelled to buy from you because their money is already, with you. These are some of the things that you can actually, of course, do in this time. When you put all of these things together, you realize that it will help you to, of course, do well and do better. You'll be able to, of course, offer more, to people, and then create, of course, pleasurable experience, onto them. And lastly, as I close, I need you to understand this, all right? What is happening present day, of course, has an expiry date, on it. So it's going to end, of course, very soon, one day. Now, don't allow, of course, an event, or of course, a challenge that will soon expire. Don't allow you to, of course, terminate, of course, the good relationship you've had, with some of your customers, or with, of course, or that you can have, with, of course, new customers that will be coming across your path, across, your way. So it's very important for you to understand that the mantra for this season should be: you must make up your mind to do well and do better. It is very, very important. I believe you're able to, of course, work around these things, that it will help you to, of course, keep your business, of course, at pace, even in this current situation. All right, thank you. Please do put all of these things into practice, and if you have any question, please feel free to get in touch with me. All right, and I will attend to your questions. Thank you.